Hey guys, how are you? I hope you are well. Today I'm going to talk a little about Mob Psycho 100, and because special is the word that best defines this anime, and for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm the Monio, the interdimensional demon that talks the most about Mob on YouTube, and you're on my channel. Mob is a manga and anime written by one, and yes, it's the same guy as One Punch Man, but unlike One Punch Man who works on a single idea being taken to the point of absurdity, Mob Psycho works with many ideas, and does it a lot well in my opinion. This was expected since One Punch Man is an uncompromising work that the author created as a parody of superheroes and shonen anime in general. He had no intention of doing anything serious with One Punch, according to himself. He created the story with the intention of testing a new comic editing software that he installed on his computer, but One Punch Man was an absurd success and made him famous, and then we had the opportunity to know the work that he really tried hard to do. Generally I don't like to compare works, but in this case I think it's fair because they are works by the same author, and the difference in quality between the two is clear, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that One Punch Man is bad. I love Saitama, but Mob Psycho 100 manages to be better in every way in my opinion. Mob Psycho 100 tells the story of Mob, a very introverted high school student who is also a telepath, and not only that, he is probably the most powerful telepath in this world. He works in a paranormal office and performs exorcisms of evil spirits that exist this world. Rajan is the owner of the office and also a charlatan who takes advantage of Mob to offer spiritual services, but as the story progresses, Rajan really cares about Mob. But the Monio, what is the differential of this anime? Why is he so good? Well, one thing that this author does very well is moving between humor, action, and exciting moments. The fact that the Mob's powers are linked to his emotions is a great idea, not only to work on the character's grandeur and visually show how much he is powerful, but also dealing with emotional aspects. Mob is extremely powerful, but he prefers to hide these powers from most people, as he doesn't consider these powers as something special and he doesn't want to be defined by it, which is why Mob looks like being apathetic at first glance. But what we actually have is a very shy boy who hides part of who he is from people and having to deal with emotions that are suppressed, at the same time that he tries to be relevant to the girl he likes. Mob's manga was released in 2012, and although many people find the art feature ugly, I find it very interesting and alternative. Despite having simple features, it has a great comic layout and fits very well within its proposal, but it's in the anime that the work stands out. The simple line of art is compensated with animation quality and often an alternative animation that proposes not only to emulate many times the line of the manga but to apply unusual techniques to represent key moments. As in this one scene in which the animation of the ghost is done in stop motion with finger painting on the glass, in addition to very cool details from the anime's art direction. For example, each of the characters that uses telekinesis has an aura with its own effect. Mob has an aura very similar to that of his brother Ritsuge, but they are still different, since Toru has a totally different effect from the two. Toichiro has an aura similar to that of his son, but they are also different. All with excellent soundtracks that make key moments even more memorable and exciting. The way the story is told is also something very different from what we see in anime of the genre, and here I could mention many things, such as the subversion of expectations, with much more complex and meaningful resolutions for the story and for the characters than simply winning a battle. The way the script is tied is also a great highlight. The vegetable garden episode, for example, is one of those examples of an episode that you think will have no relevance to the story, and in the battle of the second season it is created a giant broccoli with the seeds he acquired in the garden episode, and then you might even think that this is just to be something funny that was thrown there. After all, it is a giant broccoli, but we have a third season that revolves around this broccoli, with people treating it like something divine and creating a religion around that broccoli, and that ties directly into the Dimples character arc, which is going to have one of the most emotional moments in the whole series. Dimple is an example of a character that started out as just another enemy that needed to be defeated, until he became one of the most beloved characters in the entire series, having his own arc in which the character gains layers of complexity and questions his main objective. Toichiro was another example of a character that started out as a great villain and final challenge for the mob, but ended up having his deserved redemption alongside his son. And we arrive at this third season, with an arc focused on the mob itself, in which we will have the resolution for its main conflicts that are approached since the beginning of the story, such as the feelings of the mob for Tsubomi and the way in which the mob is divided between the person who uses his powers and the one who doesn't. Mob has always grown as a character over the seasons, but it is in this arc that Mob will understand important things about himself, and how these things will help him deal with life changes. Many people found that uncontrolled and apparently evil way of the mob strange, but he had already appeared like this in other moments of the series, as in the first meeting with Teru, and it is interesting how the internal conflict of the mob happens in these last episodes. We have two mobs, one that represents the side with powers that lived suppressed, and the other that represents his more banal side, which is what we see most of the time when he doesn't have his powers 100% released. In a cliché anime, there would be a side of good and the other of evil. These two sides would face each other and in the end bees would win, but here it's a little more complex than that, because there isn't a good side and a bad side. What there are two sides that together define the mob, so the resolution of the conflict is not a fight, but the two sides accepting each other and becoming one. There were also many other exciting moments like Ritsu reaching 100%, the return of Dimples that took everyone by surprise, and also the moment when Rajan tells the whole truth of Mob. All these moments were carefully constructed throughout the anime to culminate in emotional character climaxes, and that makes this final arc simply amazing. If you've never watched Mob, I highly recommend it, but don't watch the live action on Netflix. It fits in that category of the worst audio-visual works that humanity has ever produced, and if you want to see more demonic opinions about Mob, subscribe to the channel. That's it my people, until next time, demonic hugs.